Mantras of our Divine Mother. Our Divine Mother says, above all the complication of the so called human wisdom, there is the luminous simplicity of the Divine grace, ready to act if we allow it to act. Life could be quite simple and easy if man's mind did not introduce in it so many useless complications. With love and blessings, says our Divine Mother. Words of our Divine Mother from the collective works of our Divine Mother, Volume 8, page 119, topic The Purpose of Life. Our Divine Mother says, yes, the justification of earthly existence is that one is on earth to realize the divine. Without this reason, earthly life would be a monstrosity. Our Divine Mother says, if they were not the supreme reason of rediscovering the divine and becoming Him, manifesting Him, realizing Him externally, earth life as it would be something monstrous. Naturally, the more people are unconscious, the less do they understand this, for they do not objectify, they live mechanically according to habit without even objectifying or being aware of their way of living. And as the consciousness grows, they realize the kind of the monstrous hell life is, life as it is. And it is only when one becomes conscious of that towards which this life leads that one can accept it and understand it. It is only this purpose of life which makes it acceptable. Our Divine Mother says, when one enjoys oneself and forgets, when one takes things as they come, tries to avoid being serious and looking life in the face, in a word, when one seeks to forget that there is a problem to solve, that there is something to find, that we have a reason for existence and living, and that we are not here just to pass our time and go away without having learned or done anything, then one really wastes one's time. One misses the opportunity that has been given to us. This, I cannot say unique, but marvelous opportunity for an existence which is the field of progress, which is the moment in eternity when you can discover the secret of life. For this, physical, material existence is a wonderful opportunity, a possibility given to you to find the purpose of life, to make you advance one step towards this great deeper truth, to make you discover the secret which puts you into contact with the eternal rapture of the divine life. Our Divine Mother says, I have already told you many a time that to seek suffering and pain is a morbid attitude which must be avoided. But to run away from them through forgetfulness, through a superficial, frivolous movement, through diversion is cowardice. When pain comes, it comes to teach us something. The quicker we learn, the more the need for pain diminishes. And when we know the secret, it will no longer be possible to suffer. For that secret reveals to us the reason, the cause, the origin of suffering, and the way to pass beyond it. The secret is to emerge from the ego, get out of its prison, unite ourselves with the divine, merge into the divine, not to allow anything to separate us from Him. Then, once you have discovered this secret and realize it in one's being, pain loses its justification and suffering disappears. It is an all powerful remedy, not only in the deeper parts of the being, in the soul, in the spiritual consciousness, but also in life and in the body. Our Divine Mother says, all that Sri Aurobindo says is, aimed at fighting against human nature with its inertia, its heaviness, laziness, easy satisfactions, hostility to any effort and to all efforts. How many times in life does one meet people who become pacifists because they are afraid to fight, who long for rest before they have earned it, who are satisfied with a little progress and, in their imagination and desires, make it into marvelous realization so as to justify their stopping halfway? In ordinary life, already this happens so much. Indeed, this is the bogus ideal which has deadened mankind and made man into what he is now. Work while you are young, accumulate wealth, honor position, be provident like a little foresight, put something by, lay up a capital, become an official, so that later when you're 40 you can sit down, enjoy your income, later your pension, as they say, enjoy a well earned rest. To sit down, to stop on the way, not to move forward, to go to sleep, to go down the hill towards the grave before one's time, cease to live the purpose of life to sit down. A Divine Mother says the minute one stops going forward, one falls back. The moment one is satisfied, no longer aspires, one begins to die. Life is movement, it is effort, it is a march forward, the scaling of a mountain, the climb towards new revelations, towards future realizations. Nothing is more dangerous than wanting to rest. It is in action, in effort, in the march forward that repose must be found. The true repose of complete trust in the divine grace, of the absence of desires, of victory over egoism. True repose comes from the widening, the universalization of the consciousness. Become as vast as the world, and you will be always at rest. In the thick of action, in the very midst of the battle, the effort you will know the repose of infinity and eternity. Question. In fact, sweet mother, what is the yogi's attitudes towards the outer and the outward appearance? For this, a Divine Mother says the usefulness of seeing clearly instead of being blind, the usefulness of no longer being deceived by outer appearances, the usefulness of knowing the true purpose of life instead of living in ignorance and falsehood. The thirst for progress, the thirst for knowledge, the thirst for transformation, and above all, the thirst for love and truth. If one keeps that, one goes quicker. Truly, a thirst, a need, a need. No more bonds, free, free, always ready to change everything except one thing, to aspire, this thirst, the something one is in need of, the love one is in need of, the truth one is in need of, the supreme perfection one is in need of, and that is all. The formulas, the fewer formulas there are, the better, but that a need which the thing alone can satisfy, nothing else, no half measure, only that. And then you go. Your way will be your way. Whatever the way, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Words of our Divine Mother from the Collective Works of our Divine Mother, Volume 11, page 6. Next topic, true need. Our Divine Mother says, if you turn to the Divine and have full trust and ask Him, you will get what you need. Not necessarily what you imagine you need, but the true thing you need, you will get. But you must ask Him for it. You must make the experiment sincerely. You must not endeavor to get it by all sorts of external means and then expect the divine to give it you without even asking Him. In the ordinary consciousness, the movement is just the opposite. You assume something and then you keep asking the divine. Next question. Sweet Mother, what is the right and the wrong way of being humble? For this, our Divine Mother says it is very simple. When people are told, be humble, they think immediately of being humble before other men, and that humility is wrong. True humility is humility before the divine. True humility is humility before the divine, that is, a precise, exact living sense that one is nothing, one can do nothing, understand nothing without the divine, that even if one is exceptionally intelligent and capable, this is nothing in comparison with the divine consciousness, and this sense one must always keep, because then one always have the true attitude of receptivity, a humble receptivity that does not put personal pretensions in opposition to the divine. From the Collective Works of Our Divine Mother, Volume 5, page 44. Question, sweet mother, when we make an effort, there is something in us which makes or becomes very self satisfied and boastful and contented with this effort that spoils everything. Then, how can we get rid of this? For this, our Divine Mother says, that's what looks on what is doing. There is always someone who observes when one is doing something. Now, sometimes he becomes proud. Obviously, this takes away much strength from the effort. I think it is that. It is the habit of looking at oneself acting, looking at oneself living. It is necessary to observe oneself, but I think it is still more necessary to try to absolutely be sincere, spontaneous, very spontaneous in what one does. Not always to go on observing oneself, looking at one what is doing, judging oneself, sometimes severely. In fact, it is almost as bad as patting oneself with satisfaction. The two are equally bad. Our Divine Mother says one should be so sincere in his aspiration that he doesn't even know that he is aspiring. He becomes the aspiration itself. 1 minute, 1 minute of this, and you can prepare years of realization. When one is no longer a self regarding being, an ego looking at itself acting, when one becomes the action itself, above all in the aspiration, this truly is good. When there is no longer a person who is aspiring, when it is an aspiration which leaps up with a fully concentrated impulsion, then truly it goes very far. Otherwise, there is always mixed up in it a little vanity, a little self complacency, a little self pity also, and all kinds of little things which comes and spoils everything. From the Collective Works of Our Divine Mother, Volume 6, page 402. A Divine Mother says nobleness is to refuse all personal calculations. Generosity is to find one's own satisfaction in the satisfaction of others. These are the words of our Divine Mother and our Lord Sri Aurobindo.